Zondervan presents Turning the Page by Laura Jensen Walker, read by Allison Moffett. The beast was after me. No matter where I went, there he was, big, furry, silent, staring, and wearing his ever-present blue coat. Guess the yellow dress and brown hair must have confused him. He thought I was his Belle. An understandable mistake, we both love to read, although I've never been a princess. And this place was crawling with them. Finally, the beast moved on in search of the real Belle, and Eric shifted beside me. "Not much longer, honey," I said. "Look, we're nearly at the halfway point." "Great." I know it's a little cheesy, but this was one of my favorite attractions when I was a kid. I never miss it when I come to Disneyland. "Even on your honeymoon?" My gorgeous, brand-new husband looked at me over his sunglasses. "Standing in line with hundreds of people to get into It's a Small World isn't exactly my idea of romance. Give me a white sandy beach in the Cayman Islands any day." "I know, but we've got our whole lives to do that. I couldn't disappoint Mom, not after she and Dad scrimped and saved to surprise us with this honeymoon. They're not rich, you know, so this was a really big deal to them. Can't we just enjoy it?" "I'd enjoy it a lot more if I were sipping a Mai Tai with you on an isolated beach." "We can have Mai Tais at the hotel tonight." Eric stared at me with his face softened. "Now that I'm looking forward to." He gently rubbed his thumb across my chin, the chin he always called adorable, then pulled me to him and gave me a long, slow kiss. The line stared and I blushed. Eric held up my left hand. "We're on our honeymoon! Isn't my bride beautiful?" I blushed again as the crowd cheered. Eric whispered in my ear, "I love you, but you owe me a honeymoon. And," he paused, "the Indiana Jones ride is next." 1. You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb in his skin and walk around in it. To Kill a Mockingbird. My mother killed my marriage, stomped all over it with her Pepto-Bismol pink pumps and ground it to divorce dust. Okay, maybe that's not entirely fair. Mom wasn't solely responsible for the destruction of my marriage. Like many couples, Eric and I had some problems, but the biggest one was my mother. I turned the page in my wedding album on what would have been our 5-year anniversary to a close-up of the two of us, happy, bright, shining, and in love. So in love. But that was then, and this is now. My fingers moved up the glossy page to the cleft in Eric's jaw. I loved that Kirk Douglas cleft and had spent many happy hours kissing it, and the delicious lips above it. Now someone else was kissing them. I slapped the album shut, and as I shoved it back into the closet, the phone rang. I walked over to the nightstand to check the caller ID, probably a telemarketer. As the phone continued to ring, I squinted at the name. Now, where'd I put my reading glasses? By the time I finally found them, the answering machine had clicked on. "Paige?" My mother's querulous voice filled the air. "Are you there, or are you out again? Seems like you're never home anymore." She released a loud sigh. "I was hoping you could come over for just a minute and pull down my other quilt from the top of the linen closet. This one's getting too hot and heavy." She lobbed one of her famous guilt grenades. "Oh, well, guess I'll just have to make do. Talk to you soon." My turn to expel a loud sigh. Mom's "for just a minute" was never that. Every time I went over to her house, several times a week since Dad died, she found one other little thing for me to do. "Since you're here, would you mind bringing the new bag of cat litter in from the garage? It's too heavy for me." Translation: clean out the dirty litter box and refill it. "Could you look up the number to animal control? I think I've got raccoons or
Sample complete. Ready to continue?